Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today we are looking at the Trn Mt1. This is a dual magnetic dynamic driver IM from Trn. Ultra low budget, meaning it's $20 or below. And let's get into the basics of the unit. I got the clear version, comes in this green too, which is kind of see-through, and it's actually really nice looking. You can see that dynamic driver in there. I see that there's a brass tip. Construction overall is decent. I mean, you can see the seams and everything, of course, but and it's lightweight. But for the price, it is, built what I would be expecting. I'm not expecting a nice, solid, expensive 3D printed resin IM for that price. Now, of course, we also can say that about the cable. It's got the preformed air hooks. I think everything has that now. It's kind of thin over at this part. Plastic right here where the splitter is, but the plug on the end is actually aluminum. It's a 90-degree angle, which comes in handy for cell phones. It's decent thickness to the braid. It's not the worst. It does tend to get tangled, but it is far from the worst that I've ever used. And I think most people are going to probably want to modify this and change out the tips and the cable, which I don't do until later on, until after the review is done, because it's not fair. I don't know what cable you're going to buy. Are you going to get something like this cable here, which is stunning? That's the forest cable from DD, or are you going to get this cable here, which is upside down? Die, 16 core. This is a silver-plated upgrade cable that is just really nice looking. It's slick. It's all black. It's even got the black carbon fiber, or one of the other ones from KB Air or whatever. They're very nice looking as well. Let's get into the specs. Looking at my notes. Okay, so this one obviously has a single dynamic driver. It's a dual magnetic driver, similar to what you usually find in TFC. They use that a lot. It has 3.5 millimeter right angle, or L termination at the end. It is a 2-pin that is 0.75. Remember that. If you get the 0.78, it'll be too big for this. You might stretch out those pins, or it may not fit at all. Don't want to do that. The impedance is 22 ohms, which is surprising. I was actually expecting a lot lower. And sensitivity is 106 decibels per milliwatt, meaning that this is easy to drive. You can drive this from your phone quite easily. Frequency range 20 to 20 kilohertz. Comes in both clear and green, which the green is kind of clear anyway with a tint. And the cable length is 1.2 meters. And I just whacked the camera. Just getting a good look at this. It really looks nice in the clear. I really do like that. I think the green would look just as nice, but the clear. I don't think I actually own anything that is just pure clear like this. And it's really cool. Reminds me of like the old phones in the house, and the Apple computers were always, they had the see-through with the colors. I just like seeing things that are see-through. It's pretty cool. I think I want to get a pair of the Koss headphones that are see-through too, because I think those are cool as well. So, alright. So we've gotten into the cable. It's decent. It's not the greatest cable in the world, but it's decent. Obviously, accessories include these tips here, which remind me of the tips that CCA is using now. And of course, the cable is typical TRN cable, very similar to what CVJ uses and KB Air. What is the sound? For that, I have to go to my other notes. The sound on this was a little surprising, a little different. Some originality to it there. Kind of borders between the V and the U shape. Um, Bass-wise, very good on the bass. Now, this isn't the most overly powerful bass. I've seen some people say that the bass is too much, and it really isn't. I mean, compared to like a KZ, the bass is not. The bass is very tight. It's got some good speed to it. It's well controlled. We start getting into the mids. The mids are very robust, meaning they're full-bodied. There's warmth there because there is some bleed from the bass, but it's not an overpowering warmth. Then we get into the treble, and the treble is good. I mean, really good. There's some sparkle there. There's some detail. Again, not in KZ territory, but there is some good sparkle there. It does get a little peaky in the upper mids and the lower treble. Not to say that there's harshness, but there's the definite ability to be harsh with some tracks. For me, overall, it was decent. There was definitely, some nice details there. Getting into the soundstage and imaging. Now, the imaging is good. It's not the greatest imaging, but considering that the price of this, which actually I can actually look up. If you bear with me for just 2 seconds, I will get the price on this. This is under $15. Okay, so that is very good. So considering the price, yeah, it's not the greatest imaging in the world. There's not the greatest image separation there. The timbre is very good, but it's not the most natural. And this isn't the most resolving. But for this price, compared to some other ones in this price range, yes, I would say that it's a little bit better than them. Now we get into the soundstage. There's some really good soundstage depth there. It's got a nice width to it. It's deep. It is very pleasant for doing certain things. I listened to some TV shows with this on the phone, and I found that I liked it a lot. It's just got some good qualities to it overall. Sibilance wise, like I said, it has the ability to be sibilant, and I'm looking, and there's actually a third color in this, which it doesn't say, but I believe there's like a brown color. I didn't know that. I've only seen the green and the clear. So the tuning on this is good. It's brilliant. It's, toward the balanced side, and with a little slight V-ish, U-ish kind of thing going on there. Bass, it isn't bloaty, muddy bass. Some people said the bass was too much. I think that the bass, for me at least, isn't enough, but it is good. I'm kind of getting I like bass. I mean, I like a V shape. I can be a bass head, but then again, there are times where I like a nice, super balanced signature. Case in point, the Hi-Fi-Man Anandas, which we got a review coming up for that, working on that. Those are incredible. Those are like the most well-rounded headphones. It's kind of hard to be subjective and listen to, lower budget things after you've listened to something like that. That's just very resolving, very good details and everything else. But it puts things in perspective, and you have to remember you're comparing a headphone that's like $700 to $100 to $1,000 with a $15 IM. There's just no way in hell I'm ever going to do that comparison. I mean, so you have to think, how good does this do what it does for the price? Will people like this? And that's how I judge things. I try not to judge things by, oh God, I hate this. It sounds horrible. It's not what I want. I want bass. No, the bass is very good. I can appreciate that. I can appreciate each signature. I can appreciate the V shape. I can appreciate the neutral, the balanced, the harmon tuning. I can appreciate all of that. Certain music sounds better with certain signatures, and some signatures sound good with everything. Obviously, balance sounds good with everything. Obviously, if you're listening to hip hop or rock, you want bass. You want more bass. Um, acoustical music, you want more of a neutral or balanced signature and stuff like that. Uh, Without getting into more complicated thinking, especially for such a simple IM. In a nutshell, this is some good soundstage. The resolution, the imaging is okay. It's good. It's good enough for this. I wouldn't expect any more from this, and if it did do any more, I would be hyping the heck out of this, which I'm not. This is decent for the price. It's not the greatest at anything, but it does do some things quite well. And for that, I definitely would recommend this to someone who's looking for some of that signature, who doesn't want it to be overly bassy. It's got the bass, as much bass as you need. This is not a bloaty type of bass, but it does bleed a little bit into the lower mids, slightly warm. Vocals are very good with this. The mids in general are very robust. The treble is a little on the smooth side, but it does have some peaks to it, as well as the upper mids. A little bit of peaks. I think on some tracks that could get to be a little bit of a problem, especially for treble sensitive people. But other than that, I think that this would sound great for hip hop, pop, jazz. Trying to think of classic rock. Different types of rock. Definitely would be good. Cable, chips, okay. It's basically what I expect from any of these companies in a budget range. If I got worse, I would mention it to you guys. But everything's expected with this. It is a decent IM for the price. So far, from what I tested, I do like this better than the CVJ that we tested, just a little bit. Just a little bit. But the CVJ is growing on me, and I think I'm going to do another video after I've modded it and let you guys know how I felt about that one, because I am starting to like that a little bit better. It's just, it was a strange tuning, and it kind of threw me off. That said, we'll leave it at that. It's decent. I'm going to put it back in its case. This case is great, by the way. They sell this case. This is the same case that the C Audio Yumi came in, and it's supposedly waterproof. I'm not going to actually test that out unless I get a pair of IMs that I absolutely hate. But it does a decent job, and it's solid metal, so it definitely seals well, and it's got some really good protection. If you're looking for something in the smaller size case, I would definitely look that one up on Amazon. And the Trn Mt1, definitely decent for the price. It really is. It may not be my favorite, but it still is very good. Thank you so much for watching, and please stay safe.